Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, well, it's going to be a little bit different. First, I want to thank you all for your incredible support in my last video where I bought this 2022 Scat pack on somewhat of an impulse. And let me define an impulse. I decided a month ago to buy a one-way ticket to meet my family in Dallas and ride with them to St. Jacob, Illinois, and then figure out how I'm going to get back. So to me, that was fun. To me, it was a little bit of extra excitement in my life that I'm going to go on vacation and have no idea on how I'm going to get back, because my wife and daughter will be going to Kentucky for a horse event that I'm not going to because I have to get back and actually work later on this week. So I had no way of getting back other than planning to buy a plane ticket, which, as you all know if you watched the news, getting home would be difficult, could be difficult. Plane flights are getting canceled every single day. You show up to the airport and they tell you, sorry, you can't leave, and we'll get you on another flight at some point. To me, that's just ridiculous. We're not living in the Stone Age. I'm not going to be playing that game where I don't have any clue on when or how I'm going to get home. And then I decided that I would just buy a car. And the beautiful thing about this is that making that decision is enabled by my ability to do it. And I don't mean that in a arrogant or conceited way, despite any of the negative comments that try to make me out to be this indecisive, rich megalomaniac. No, this is just, I've worked for a very long time. I'm 51 years old. And I've been able to hustle enough to be able to afford to do certain things that I couldn't do even 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And now that I can, sometimes you just do things just because you can. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I flew out here hoping I'd find a car. Not sure what would be available, but when I found this car and the jailbreak wasn't going to be done, I decided this is how I want to get home. The 2-day drive that it takes with one night sleeping is so incredibly relaxing for me. I love cars. I love being behind the wheel of one of these things. I love these cars. And last time when I drove from one end of Illinois to my home in California, I got really, really calmed. I run really hot, I run really hard every single day to run my business, to run the company I work at. And I will tell you, the idea of just sitting in this car with nothing more to worry about than focusing on the road and enjoying the scenery and enjoying the engine and the drivability of this car, that was just surreal. And I would highly recommend it. Now, I'm a solitary person by nature, believe it or not, despite the fact that I do YouTube. I really enjoy my time alone. I love my family, love my friends, but I could be alone just as easily as I can be with people. And the thought and the experience of just riding in this car, just through the country, being able to stop when I want, is just awesome. And it beats the hell out of jumping in a Pepsi can with wings, where the flight attendants, which I have yet to have meet any that are really nice, and eat some crappy food, just doesn't appeal to me. But jumping in this thing and cruising across country, getting to places like New Mexico where it's like you're on the moon, there's nothing there, and you can drive as fast as you want because literally there's nothing to run into. It's just awesome. And when you roll up to your house, you feel a sense of accomplishment that I just drove 2,000 miles and rode the hell out of this car. It's just awesome. So that's my preface. No impulse there about the car. But the reason I wanted to make this video was because so many of you were positive, most of you were positive, but there was some negative. But the one very consistent thing about the comments were that even in the positive ones, there was an air of curiosity. In the negative ones, there was a wildly obnoxious air of jealousy. And I never want to impose that feeling or inflict that feeling or emotion on anybody because of what I have or what I've done. I think that that is an absolute evil thing to do, to go lecture things to people to make them feel worse about themselves. And when I see these negative comments, it's absolutely clear that I've inadvertently accomplished the opposite of what I've tried to accomplish with my channel. I've caused people to feel really bad about themselves, so bad that they feel like they need to hurl a boulder at me in the comment section. And the hurt in these comments, the sadness in these comments, the energy it takes to muster up a negative word towards another human being, even online, is disheartening at best. And it is, again, not my intention with my channel. So what I wanted to share with you all, and even the naysayers and the negative people and the people that know everything and the people that have to just go from channel to channel hurling boulders at people they've never met, don't know, and only know enough that they give you online, which I certainly can't give you everything in a few videos. But I wanted to give some advice. I wanted to share that, yes, I've achieved a level of success that enables me to do the things I want to do. But success is not defined by the things you buy, the things you own. And everyone says this, and it's so cliche, but rather the things you can buy, the things you own, after you reach a level of financial success, are nothing more than that. They're things. They don't quantify who you are as a human being. They don't make you who you are. They don't suddenly determine that you're better than someone else because you have something. A Lamborghini, Ferrari, Hellcat, it doesn't mean you're better than somebody else. Anyone can figure out a way to go finance one of these things and keep it long enough to make a whole bunch of their friends feel inadequate. And that's sad, because no one should feel inadequate because they haven't reached that level yet in their lives. The only thing that should make someone feel inadequate or feel bad is their lack of ambition or desire to go out and go after the things that they feel would make them happy. And if those things are cars, like they are for me, then good for them. If they are simply having a great wife and kid and family and job and modest living, and you're good with that because you want to do some traveling and other things, that's cool too. For me, success, for me, my definition of success, what makes me feel successful has always been how many people I can positively impact, both professionally and personally. And if I can do that, then I'm rewarded with a feeling of purpose. Now, I didn't wake up one day and think, oh, I'm going to go out and do that stuff. What happened is there were people that I met in my life that went out of their way, and I couldn't understand why, to help impact my life, to make it better. From my mother and father, to good friends, to business associates, to people who were going to get nothing for helping me out. And when that happened, I thought, man, what if I didn't meet that person that told me that I could actually manage a real estate office, not just sell real estate, and actually learn how to run a business despite never going to college and getting bad grades in high school, albeit spending 4 years in the Air Force, which I'm very proud of. But now I'm going to run a multi-million-dollar business, and he says, I'm going to teach you how to run a business. I'm going to take you to Harvard without you having to go to school. And he did. And that man, named Rich, taught me how to run a business. And it's led to so many other opportunities in my lifetime. So when someone comes into your life like that, you don't forget them. And then you realize that, uh-oh, I was tasked to pay it forward. I didn't get that gift without an expectation of returning it to other people that might be in my same situation. So that was success. And the second part of success for me is if I'm fulfilled in my life, if I've reached a place of fulfillment. I feel like Where I'm at right now is exactly where I want to be, exactly where I should be, or pretty close to it, with respect for certain ambitious desires that'll never go away, for the cherry on top in my life, the extra, if you will. But right now, if I have everything I want, I'm good with where I'm at, I don't have a bunch of regrets and depression and disappointment because of where I'm at, then I'm absolutely successful. And I would say that I'm 99% there today. Do I want my jailbreak? Do I want a Lamborghini, a Huracan? Do I want, you know, big giant, all these things? Yeah, I want more. We all want more. That's part of who we are. But right now, I'm good. So yes, I'm successful. I'm successful because I've helped thousands of people find success in their life, both personally and professionally, because of my interaction with them. And I've had people do the same for me. And I'm at a place in my life with a beautiful wife, an amazing child with near straight A's. She gets a B once in a while, which is way better than what I used to get. My mother and father are still alive, and I have a massive amount of incredible friends. Some are new, some are old, but they are really, really important to me. I put together the 10 keys that I looked back on that have made me successful. 10 things, 10 philosophies, 10 strategies that have helped me get successful that I'm going to share with you all today. And this isn't a car video, but I am in the car, so let's call it a car vlog, where I'm going to impart this information to you, and you can call BS on it, you can criticize me, you can get negative in the comments, I don't care, other than the fact that that was not my intention, and I apologize, because I never meant to make you feel bad, even with the things I'm going to share with you. So now let's jump into those. Let's start off with number 1, key to my success, that could be the key to your success, that might help you. Number 1, I didn't grow up with a lot of money. And as a result, it was very, very clear to me that other people had more than we had. It was very, very clear to me that other people were able to buy cooler things than we were able to buy. It was very, very clear to me that there were times in my life growing up that we couldn't afford the things we even had. So what I decided at a certain point is rather than just be sad about that, is to fully embrace my abject fear of poverty. That what motivated me, what pushed me hard when I was younger even, and even today, is my abject fear of poverty. I don't want to be poor again. I don't ever want to scrape for pennies and nickels, or to go and eat the 49-cent burrito at Del Taco, which is $1+ now. I don't want to have to do that stuff. I don't want to have to panic when my car breaks. So what I've done is I've embraced my abject fear of poverty, and rather than letting it paralyze me, which that tends to paralyze, I would almost say, most people, I allow it to motivate me. And is it healthy to have a fear? I think fear is natural. I think if a bear came, you know, running at you, you should probably run like hell and climb a tree or do whatever the hell you do when bears chase you. You should do something rather than just stand there and let it eat you. So fear is a mechanism that's driven the human species for as long as we've been around. So that fear either motivates you or paralyzes you. And you know, that same bear story, you can have somebody standing there when a bear chases them and they get paralyzed, freeze, and get eaten. Or you've got another guy who's with that guy who runs like hell, and the bear eats the guy that's paralyzed. So I'm the guy that's going to keep running. I'm going to keep running no matter how much I get, no matter how financially stable I get. I will never forget. We'll never forget what it's like to be poor, never forget what it's like to be broke, and I will never forget for one other reason, which is so that I can empathize with other people going through the same thing. And when people say money doesn't buy happiness, I will tell you, I've always been happier when I had money than when I didn't have money. It just is what it is. And I'm one person that's willing to admit that. Now, would I trade money for illness or for divorce or for sadness with my child, think bad things happen to our family? Hell no. Come on, let's be real. But man, having money is a hell of a lot more fun than not having it. And I'm not ashamed of that. Now let's talk about number two. Number two, I've sought out other successful people to help guide me along in my life. I'm the kid that, when I got out of the Air Force, started looking for people who were successful to ask them, how can I get successful too? And I would almost be irritating to them, and some would even dismiss me to just get away from them, leave them alone. Why would I share with you? Why would I share my secrets with you? So I left those people alone. But then, if I asked enough people, there was always someone who had been through enough crap that was willing to share how they did it, what they did. And I gotta tell you, those people I'll never forget. When a little old man named Ed sits down at my desk when I was brand new in real estate and tells me how he got started in real estate and what he did, and then literally an hour later had a big brain aneurysm and died in the middle of the bullpen in the real estate office while I was there. I mean, the last conversation he had with a person was telling me how to be successful in real estate, and no one else would talk to this guy. He was marginalized as an older person, still hanging around in the real estate office. But he had been successful, and he loved selling real estate, and still was doing what he loved to do at the end of his life. Not because he had to, because he wanted to. So I found people like that. And the key to those people is to try to get past their level of confidence and never mistake confidence or arrogance for confidence, or confidence for arrogance. You're looking for confidence, and arrogance can oftentimes be mistaken for confidence. And if you can get past that and identify that it's a confident person, but find the one factor that's going to make them someone who's willing to help you, and that one factor is humility. If you can find that person, they're willing to share everything with you. So look for humility. People who will start off by saying, look, it wasn't easy. I didn't have much. I've fallen on my face a lot. But yeah, I'm good now. Sure, I'll share with you how I got through those things. Because that story that that person shares with you is one that will help you avoid doing the mistake that they made. So I went out on my way to find successful people, humble people, confident people who would share things with me. So now let's talk about number three. Number three, I've chosen to surround myself with people who are supportive and honest and sincere. What you'll find is that if you don't have the success, the financial success, let's say, that you wish you had, but you start sharing with people how one day I'm going to do this, one day I'm going to do that, I'm going to get into this, I'm going to get into real estate, I'm going to get into college, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to do these things because I want to achieve this great level of success. If your friends right now start to crap on those dreams, start to tell you that it'll never happen, do you realize how hard that is? Come on, you're too stupid to do that. Guys like us don't ever reach that level of success, blah, blah, blah. If that is the kind of people you have around you, get rid of those people. Let me explain why. Most people, especially if you grew up with them, they don't want to see you leave them behind. It's a feeling of loss, feeling of disconnect, and that feeling of being left behind. Imagine standing on the road and watching someone you care about drive away to never see them again. That same emotion is what they're manifesting and sharing with you when you tell them about your dreams. Or as you become successful and you show up in that new car and they start to nitpick that car, start to beat you up a little bit and give you crap and ask you if you could really afford it and should you really do that, and you're like, no, I'm doing great on my job, I'm working really hard, and they start to break you down and create some self-doubt in you, hoping that that'll slow you down in your aspirational pursuit of your dreams. You've got to get those people out of your life. I literally cut people out of my life because it got so tiring that I had to get rid of them because they were just making me feel bad every time I was around them. I had these huge dreams. I wanted to make $100,000 a year at 21 years old in 1992. And they said, nobody does that. And I did it. I wanted to make $200,000 a year by the time I was 30 years old. And I did that. And they told me I couldn't. I had older people I respected even, tell me it can't be done. I had a guy in a Mercedes dealership walk me off the lot and tell me that, son, the used cars are over there. Basically, you'll never be able to have one of these cars. I mean, these people are all over the place, and they jump right out of the freaking bushes and kick you right in the jaw in hopes that you won't go after the stuff, and you'll stay with them in their misery. Run from them. Nicely extricate them from your life, and sometimes you have to tell them, listen, the 4th time, the 3rd time, the 10th time, whatever it was, that you told me I couldn't do it, that you crapped on my dreams. Look, it was funny. Now, it's affecting me. I can't be around you. I need people that when I tell them what I want to do, they go, if anybody can do it, you can do it. A dear friend of mine is the star of Flip or Flop, Tarek. And he came to me one day and said, look, can I borrow your camera? I want to film a flipping show. And I said, happily, tell me about it. And he told me about it, and I said, you know what? You can do it. I'd watch it. I think everybody would watch it. You're an awesome guy. You're an entertaining guy. You're a fun guy. Wife at the time is awesome too. You guys are having a baby. You're going to make a great story. And boy, you hustle. Everything you've done, you've been great at. Dude, you can do it. But just don't break my camera. And bring it back, and I'll edit the video, and I'll send it to Pytown Productions for you. And he says, cool, no problem. He brought me back the camera 2 days later, broken, of course. I still have the camera to this day. Edited the video, sent it to Pytown Productions, and now he's worth tens and tens of millions of dollars. He's been through some tough stuff, no question. But this guy needed somebody to say, no, dude, it's not a crazy idea. When he said, do you think it'd work? I'm like, with you, yes, hustle. Go make it happen. You can do it. But if I sat there as somebody in a leadership position in his life at the time and said, no, it can't, you know, 99% of these things fail, they don't, he wouldn't have done it. So, you know, think about what a mistake that would have been for him to listen to me or be around somebody like that. So now, let's talk about number 4. Number 4, I give what I get. And some people hate it when I say this, but if you show up and give me trust, kindness, respect, friendship, I'm going to give you 10 times that back. It's always been the way I roll. If you come and tell me that you're giving me your loyalty and then you demonstrate you're doing that, I will be the first one to stand alongside you in any fight, any battle, any war. That's who I am. But if you give me anything less, you're done. I'm going to give what I get. So if you give me negativity, I'm going to give you back negativity, and then I'm going to disappear from your life. It just is what it is. It's just fair. I think it's a fair trade-off in our lives. I'm going to give you what you give me. If you give me something less than that, that's what you're going to have. And by the way, I might still be an acquaintance with you after you burn me on that, but I'm not going to ever give you back any more than you've ever given me. And if you've given me disloyalty, distrust, dishonor, if you've given me lies, deceit, negativity, I may have to be around you in certain circles here and there, but there's no way you're going to get into this circle with me. It just is what it is. So I give what I get. All right, number 5. So I consciously go out of my way to never prejudge anyone. I judge people by what comes out of their mouth, by things that they say, by the way they behave in their life, by not necessarily by their past, but their future and their aspirations and where they want to go. See, to find somebody to place their life at 18 or 19 years old and try to judge them based on what they've done for the last 18 years would be ridiculous, considering that the vast majority of their life has yet to have happened yet. So I try to get to know people, I ask lots of questions. I dig deep with people on a one-on-one basis to understand where they want to go and what they're willing to do to get there, and the reasons they want to go there. And when I go into those with people, I learn so much about them that I find out where they came from. I find, in the why question, I find out all the reasons they're motivated, all the reasons they're aspirational, and then I get deep. And oftentimes, the more questions you ask somebody about themselves, the deeper you get with them, and the more they respect and appreciate you for caring about them. And I will tell you, if you've messaged me on Instagram and I was able to get back to you and we dug deep with each other, I wanted to know more about you before I started telling you what I think would help you in your life. Because I need to know who you are as a person. If you tell me I want to go be a millionaire and I want to have a Lamborghini and all this other stuff, and I go, why? Well, because I want to go rub it in all my friends' faces because I didn't have anything. Or I want to go get some chicks, man. I want to go, you know, then I want to flex at the next car meet. That's not the reasons. If you want to do it because it's a personal accomplishment based on what you've been through in your life and all the people that told you couldn't do it, and the fact that in your mind, the reward, the trophy of overcoming all of that crap would be to hold the keys to a Lamborghini or a Hellcat or whatever it is in your hands and well you up with so much pride that you overcame all that stuff to get there, then boy, I'm in there with you. I mean, we're going to lock arms. And frankly, that is how I choose my friends. By the content of who they are as people, not where they came from, but where they're going, where they want to go, what they're willing to do to get there. And to me, it's caused me to find so many amazing people in my life, like Josh Laurent, like Enrique Balcazar, and so many others. These people are wonderful, wonderful folks that absolutely enrich my life because of those questions, the answers to those questions that they've shared with me, not even realizing I was digging. Now let's talk about number 6. I own my own mistakes, and I've made plenty of them. I've made so many of them that it would be embarrassing if I started to list them, and I've made some big ones. And no question, man, if you were looking back at some of those mistakes, you would think I'm the biggest idiot in the world. But I've learned from those mistakes. I refuse to be a hypocrite and act like everything I've done to lead me to this place in my life has been perfectly planned out and purely strategic, absolutely because I'm a delicate genius. Absolutely not. It's because I frankly have been more of an idiot than not, which has led me to learn more lessons than many other smarter people would have to learn. But it's made me tougher as a result as well. So I believe a hypocrite is somebody who acts like they're perfect and then criticizes and punishes everybody who makes mistakes, which is why, if you've seen my videos, when people make mistakes in my life, I don't barbecue them. As long as they acknowledge that they made it and they understand and accept that it was their fault and don't push blame on other people, I respect that more than anything, and I will continue to work with people and be friends with people who are like that, because I never have to worry about wondering what happened. They'll tell me, I screwed up, this happened, that happened, and man, I don't want to let that happen again. And then we're able to move forward with each other. There's been times in my life where if someone else won't accept responsibility for the situation, the problem, I'll just own it and say, I'll take it, it's my fault. What do we got to do to move forward? And if you do that in your life, getting to the move forward part is what rapidly propels you past onto the solution. And the solution is glorious. And once you get there, you get to go do other things. So owning your mistakes and sometimes owning others' mistakes who won't own their own mistakes, and surrounding yourself with people who are exactly that way, I believe that's one of the key success strategies for any successful person. Number 7, I believe that wherever I go, there I am. So I don't change companies all the time. I've only been married one time. I don't believe that there's something better out there that I need to replace what I currently have with other than cars. But wherever I am, there I am. So what we've seen, at least in the last 20 years I've been in business, is people are constantly looking for the bigger, better deal, the bigger, better job, the better pay, the better this, the better that, rather than realizing that there's a good chance that the reason they don't have those things isn't because of the company they work at. If their marriage sucks, it's probably not because of the spouse they chose. It's probably them. It's probably them. And I've realized that rather than changing around a whole bunch of my life, all these jobs and a spouse and friends and all this other stuff, that realize that I am the biggest influence, the biggest contributor to my success, not my current company or my current relationship. It's on me. Now, yes, there's times where I had to move companies, and it was because after 15 years, the owners blew up their own company. So I had to make a move. And I didn't choose the company with the biggest paycheck. I chose the company with the best people. And the greatest opportunity for me to take what I possess in my talents and skills to achieve the income that I desired. I just needed a place I could do it at, where the people had integrity, where the company had integrity, and then I would figure out the rest based on my ability to carry the water and make it happen. So staying in one place and focusing on you and the power you have to make it happen wherever you are is another key strategy. Number 8, I seek to understand and learn more about everything and anything I possibly can that will help others in need. So in my job, it's my job to know more, as much as I possibly can, more than even my boss if I can. That way I can demonstrate my value every single day. Around my friends and my family, I need to know more about as many things as I possibly can so that I can be of value to them when they need me. So I go out of my way to seek and understand and be the best at what I do based on the knowledge I put in my brain. And I will tell you, when you become the person that everybody calls when there's a challenge or a problem, you've arrived. And I would say for the most part, I'm that guy. I don't know everything. I still have a lot to learn, but I've spent so much time searching out the answers to understand solutions to huge issues out there in the world, that if you call me with a problem, most likely I'm going to be able to help you find a solution that's going to get you past that obstacle. Number 9, and anybody in my business life has heard me say this, even in my personal life has heard me say this a million times, I think a minimum of 5 steps down the line. If somebody tells me, you know what, Brad, I want to do this, I say, and then what's the effect? So you're going to do this, what's going to be the response? What's going to happen when you do that? Well, this is going to happen. And when that happens, what's going to happen? Well, then this is going to happen. And then when that happens, what's going to happen then? And if you go 5 levels down, seems a little obsessive, but 5 levels down, a minimum of 5 levels down, you will outthink every competitor you have, and any adversary you have, you will be able to outwit them and outsmart them. And here's why. Most people think 1, maybe 2 steps down, but they don't think what's going to happen on the 3rd step down. Somebody will come to me and say, hey, I want to do this to this person who wronged me. And I always say, and what do you think's going to happen then? What do you mean? Well, you're going to do this thing to that person, and what's that person's response going to be? Well, I don't know. They're going to be mad because I do that to them, but they're probably going to do something to you. So then what is it that they're going to do? Well, I don't know. Well, we should think about that, because if they're crazy, it could get pretty ugly. Maybe they're going to call the police on you. Maybe they're going to call your job. What happens then? And then if that happens, what happens at that point? What are you going to do to respond? Well, you're right. I'm going to have to get a lawyer. I'm going to have to get bailed out of jail. Okay, there you go. 5 steps down. In business, it's the same thing. Personal life, it's the same thing. Now, do I screw up and forget sometimes and make a knee-jerk reaction? Absolutely. And I remind myself, go back, stop. Before I go to my wife and say, hey, man, I'm going to go out with the guys tonight. Remember, she's going to say, where are you going? Who's going? How are you going to get home? I didn't think about those things. Let me go back and think about those, because they're actually really good questions. That's thinking 4 or 5 steps down the line. In every aspect of your life, you will outsmart so many people just by doing that one thing, that you will be so ahead of them in every situation that you will win more often. And finally, number 10, when I fail, which I do, even to this day, I make mistakes, I fall, I get back up, but I take a minute and I immerse myself in that failure. What most people do is they'll get back up and say, that never happened, and move on. Oh no, I stop and I deeply analyze and immerse myself in that failure just for a few minutes, just so I can fully feel how crappy it feels, so that I can create that groove in my mind, that deep memory, so that I don't do it again. If I go past it, don't stop and acknowledge it and own it, then I will do it again. And most people will too. But if I stop and really just feel that horrible feeling of, I can't believe I did that, why did I do that, beat myself up a little bit, then I worry that I'll make the mistake again. My daughter plays lacrosse, and they were on a losing streak. And my daughter came home mad a few times. And even my wife said, oh, get over it, it's just a game, it's not a... And I said, no, it's not a game, it's life. Here's the deal. Own that loss. Own your contributions to that loss. What could you have done better? Let's talk about the things you did wrong in that game. Let's talk about why you dropped the ball. And she's like, I don't want to talk about that. It was just... No, let's own it. And what you'll do different next time. And let's just immerse ourselves in it so we know what failure feels like. Because once you know what it feels like, you know what it tastes like, you don't want to taste it again. So you push a little harder next time. And then, yes, you always get back up and you always go out and try again. I mean, that's the cliche part that everybody always says. It's not the hits you take, it's how you get back up. I believe that. But there's something in the middle there, and that's owning that and really dissecting and understanding it, and then making sure that you never forget it and that you behave differently moving forward. Now, I have a saying I always use in front of very large groups that I've never spoken to before, and I'll share with you all. And I'll give you the chance to finish what I'm going to say, and I'll end this video, this long video. I always say, what doesn't kill me, ... Right now, all of you just said makes me stronger. And while there's some truth in that, I changed it. I changed it to, a long time ago, I said, what doesn't kill me should run like hell, find another part of the planet underneath a rock in a deep dark cave and hide, because I am coming for it. And I'm going to make sure that I win. And when it takes me down again, I'm going to get back up and go find it, because it should have killed me. Because absent something killing me, I'm going to keep coming. I'm going to get back up and keep coming. And I'll end with this. There was a guy named Andy, a bully in high school, that used to pick on me every single day after school, him and his brothers. And it got old because I was a little kid. And finally, one day, my mom signed me up for karate at the YMCA. And I took one class. I learned how to do the fighting stance. I learned a couple punches. I learned a couple blocks. And I realized at that moment, as a young man, that I was Bruce Lee. And the next day, I was walking home from school, and Andy came along, picking on me again, along with his brothers, along with 5 or 6 other guys, as I'm walking home from school. And I said, screw it, let's go. Got to my front yard, put my books down, and I said, let's go. My mom came outside and said, get in the house. And I said, I'm not getting in the house. I'm fighting this kid. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of dealing with it every single day. He's picking on me, pushing me, and I'm tired of it. I'm gonna fight him. My mom looks at me, she's like, I love you, but he's way bigger than you. It's not gonna end well. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm done. I want it over with. And these kids are out there, oh, mommy's gonna save you. And to my mom's credit, my mom said, fine, go ahead. And me and Andy proceeded to have the longest fight ever in the history of my neighborhood, and probably any neighborhood in America. That fight lasted from about 3 o'clock till the sun started to come down. I was beaten, I was bloody, my nose was facing another direction, I couldn't see out of one eye. I was scratched up, beat up, tired, covered in grass, and barely able to breathe from all the chokeholds he got me in. And we fought. And finally, as I'm leaning up against a wall, getting my breath one more time, he says, I'm done, I'm going home. And I look at him, I said, no, you're not. This ain't over yet. In my mind, I still hadn't won the fight. In my mind, he had won the fight. And he says, no, I'm done. I'm done. Now, I know why. I mean, I looked like hamburger. I mean, I was beaten pretty bad. Most of the kids had gone home, other than like his brother and one of his friends. And he left. And I went in the house, tended to my wounds. My mother asked me what I learned. I said, well, I learned that was a really bad idea. That was really bad, and I'm really beaten up. And the next day we went to school, and Andy didn't say a word to me. Andy didn't follow me home. And years later, I'm in my pickup truck, and I accidentally back into his pickup truck because I had to lift the truck, get a lowered truck, and took his hood out. I get out, he gets out, we look at each other like, we're gonna fight again? Now we're in high school, now we're like almost men. And he says, hey man, it's my fault I was too close to the back of your truck. And I'm like, nah dude, it's my fault I was on the speed bump and it rolled back and, you know, I pushed the clutch in and, you know, it is what it is. I'm sorry about that, we'll have our parents work it out. And he's like, no dude, it's all good. And we ended up talking and kind of cool at that point. And we started talking about that old fight. We're just chatting. Like, remember that? I don't want to fight you again. And he goes, I don't want to fight you again. You know, for like 3 or 4 years, this kid didn't know who won the fight either. He thought I won the fight. We both look like we got our asses kicked. And here's what I'll tell you. That has gotten me through business, gotten me through so much of my life. And I will tell you, sometimes just not giving up and giving it everything you got and taking that beating, but giving it back just as hard as that guy is giving it to you, will earn their respect and stop the baloney and allow you all to move forward, more successful in your lives. So I know this is a long video and probably no one will watch this thing, but I had to put it up. And I hope it helps some of you. And I hope you wrote down some notes. And I hope you implement some of these things in your life. And I hope the negative commenters know that I never meant to make you feel the way you felt when you wrote that comment. I never wanted to make you feel that way. It was never my intention. And all you supporters, I love you more than anything because this YouTube thing can be tough sometimes. But thank you all, and don't forget, please like, subscribe, comment, stay motivated, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.